Hey, how's it going everyone? My name is Martin and welcome back. Destiny 2, new huge expansion called Forsaken. It's coming on September 4th and it's going to be a big one. The story takes us back to explore a new area of the reef. Turns out that Cade has been imprisoning enemies and they've plotted to escape. So now we must hunt down 8 fallen barons who each have their own unique weapons and ways of fighting. For example, one is a sniper wearing Cabal armor. Another one is this big boy with a chain. We have a lot of information to go through from the reveal, so I broke it down into 10 easy to digest points, beginning with our first one here, 9 new supers. Nope, I'm not kidding. As you saw in the intro of this video, we're getting new supers, 9 of them, although in this video we only saw a handful of them, but according to the website at least, we're getting 9 new supers. Now, just to be clear, these are supers, not entirely new subclasses. Bungie are going to be adding new skill paths onto the already existing subclasses, along with 9 supers. And once again, we have the legend himself, Dave, back to provide the sound effects.
Rise of Iron, cast that thing. You got a huge hammer now, and you slam that thing down, and he pulls back. Yeah, and it's going to break the game, and I think that's amazing. Yeah, I know.
So first off, we see the new Arc Titan super come flying in like the old Superman Death from Above striker deal, although we didn't really get to see much more of this super and what else it can do. Then we see a variation of the Hunter's Golden Gun that now allows you to wield multiple throwing knives that can all be thrown at once. Kinda looks like a Destiny-fied Wolverine that's all set on fire, which looks pretty sick. Next is the Hammer of Soul, except now you wield one massive battle hammer, which can be used as a melee weapon. You swing it around and can hit multiple enemies at once, or slam it down and send a line of fire along the ground for some range, and leaves a spot on the ground burning for some time. Next up is the Arc Strider. Again, we didn't get to see much of this one, but one of the new abilities allows you to now spin the staff around and deflect attacks, as you can see in this gameplay. Then we have a glimpse at the Voidwalker, which now has a teleport ability, just like the Stormcaller does, but it allows you to travel much longer distances, much faster, so you're just sort of zipping around, and you release this sort of massive blast of void energy. Looks pretty crazy. Stormcallers now have this huge projection laser beam nutty looking thing. I don't even know, but it kind of reminds me of Moira from Overwatch firing that big laser beam. And lastly here, Nightstalk Hunters will be pleased to know you now have an offensive void super called Shadowmark, in which you wield these 2 deadly blades bouncing around like a ninja. Moving on to our second point on the list, new weapon type. Bow and arrows are now being added to the game, which is going to be pretty interesting, I think, to see how they play and how they fit into the sandbox. It looks as though some bows will have different abilities, like here the arrow sort of sticks to the wall and shocks this enemy, at least that's the way it looks. I thought it bounced at first, but I don't think that's the case. Number 3, new weapon system. Finally! Bungie are going with a more play your way approach with the new weapon system, meaning shotguns, snipers, fusion rifles, etc. are no longer limited to just our heavy weapon slot. There'll be, for example, shotguns that go in your primary slot or secondary slot, and if you really wanted to, the example they gave in the video is you can equip 3 shotguns at once. Might not be the best option, but the point is you can have fun with weapons the way that you want, and I'm very excited for this and sort of the potential loadouts that could come from this. Number 4, new locations. The story of Forsaken has taken us to a new area located in the reef called the Tangled Shore and the Dreaming City. The Tangled Shore is basically a bunch of asteroids webbed together and is described as this lawless frontier where pirates roam and there's maroon treasure to be found. Has this sort of western theme to it, and the Dreaming City is the homeland of the Awoken, so it's this very mysterious place that will have tons of secrets and puzzles to be found, kind of like the Dreadnought did back in the Taken King expansion, and apparently this place will change over time as more paths or secrets become available. In the Vidoc they say the Dreaming City you see at launch will not be the same Dreaming City 2 or 3 weeks later. I'm not really sure about this, but I guess we'll see. Now this kind of ties into the next topic, number 5, new raid. The new raid takes place in the Dreaming City, so thankfully we're not going back to the Leviathan this time. This is not a raid lair, we are getting a full brand new raid, and according to Joe from Bungie, this raid has more bosses than ever before, and if you remember, the King's Fall raid has 4 bosses, so going by this, we could be seeing at least 5 bosses in the new raid. Next on the list, number 6, a new game mode called GAMBIT, and this game mode combines PvP and PvE. So 2 teams of 4 players enter separate arenas where you face hordes of enemies. Killing these enemies will drop an item called motes. Each team has to collect motes and put them into banks. Doing so will block the other team's bank so that they have to remove the blocker before continuing. Once you've filled your bank, it will summon a boss, and the first team to kill their boss wins. The cool part, however, about this game mode is that during each round, you can send one person from your team over to invade your opponent's arena in an attempt to kill them and slow them down and give your team an advantage. This sounds very cool. I cannot wait to play this game mode. It's going to be very interesting to try this out. Number 7, new exotics. New exotics are always something to be excited for, and Forsaken is going to have them too. In this Vidoc we saw a couple, such as this rocket launcher called Twin Rabbit. This thing launches 2 tracking rockets at once, 1 void and 1 solar. In addition, the void rocket suppresses enemies just like the Defender Titan suppression nade, and the solar rocket causes enemies to burn with damage over time. We also got a glimpse of this spooky looking hand cannon, looks pretty cool, a new trace rifle, a new void exotic sword, these exotic warlock boots, these titan gauntlets, and more to come. Now, we're going to need a way to store all those new exotics and keep track of them. Number 8 on this list, collections and triumphs. This is going to be a way for us to track everything, including what legendary or exotic weapons we're missing, armor sets, vehicles, ghosts, emblems, triumphs, and something called titles, I believe is what those are called. I could be wrong, but these are kind of like achievements. This also gives us a way to track lore. Number 9, in-game lore collectibles. Finally, another thing we've been asking for a while is more in-game lore, more ways to actually look at that lore and store information right from our menu, and according to what we saw on the reveal stream, there are going to be 246 collectibles, so happy hunting. And lastly on this list, number 10, random rolls and weapon modification. Random rolls are coming back, random perks on weapons, which means that duplicates will actually have meaning now. Not every duplicate is going to be the exact same weapon each time, and so we'll have reasons to keep those weapons. And it also seems like we're getting a slightly more in-depth masterwork weapon system that will allow for more customization of perks on weapons, as well as more perks on armor. I'm genuinely excited for this expansion, like really actually looking forward to this. The Taken King, in my opinion, saved Destiny 1, and I feel like this could be the same for Destiny 2. Feel free to disagree with me on that, but I can't wait to play. I know I haven't been uploading recently, I apologise for that, I've recently started my new job, but I've been playing a fair amount in my free time. The grind that Warmind brought was just enough to keep me interested, so I reckon Forsaken is going to smash it, at least for me personally. In fact, there's a lot more changes coming with this than I expected, but do let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll be making another video going over some other bits that I didn't include in this video, some extra details. But anyway guys, I do hope that you enjoyed this summary. Links to my social media down in the description. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.